Dear children, up to here we have discussed some key terms including natural vegetation, crops, wildlife, tamed animals, flora, fauna, biodiversity, ecosystem and biome, right? So these were certain key terms that every child should know before moving forward with the chapter, right? Now here, as I mentioned earlier, we shall try to understand the factors which are determining distribution of natural vegetation, especially with regard to Indian context, right? So we have to understand the factors which influence, the factors which determine distribution of natural vegetation in the country, right? So these factors can broadly be divided into two groups. One is the factors with regard to are related to the land, and second is the factors which are related to the climatic conditions, right? When we talk about the factors which are related to land, we can subdivide those factors into two groups. One group is the relief of a geographical region. Another factor is the type of soil, right? So when we talk about India, as you must have discussed it in the first chapter, that the physical features of India, the relief features of India are not same. So when we talk about land has two sub-factors. One is relief of the land, second is the soil type, right? So if you can recall from chapter 1, when we talk about the physical features of India, the relief features of India are not all the same across the country. So we have mountains, we have plains, we have plateau region, we have islands, we have valleys and differences like that. So because the country has a varied type of relief features, so we have to have different types of natural vegetation due to this factor, right? Then in class 10th you shall be discussing the types of soils. Here I would like to mention that the country also has varied types of soils, and different types of soils support different type of plant species. It is not that one type of soil supports all types of plant species, because different soils are rich in different essential nutrients which are required for in different proportions for different plant species, right? It is not only the nutrients in the soil, it is also the texture of the soil which varies from place to place in the country, which has also been responsible for diverse plant species across the country. So in terms of land, the land in the country is not having the similar relief, and the relief features in the country are not having the same soil type. So because of these two diverse basic geographical factors, the country is bound to have diverse natural vegetation and as a result the wildlife as well. Then we come to the second group of the factors, which is with regard to the climatic conditions, right? So we take two important elements of climate. One is the temperature, second is the precipitation or rainfall. You must be knowing it from chapter climate that the temperature across the country never remains same. We have the regions in the west which experience over 40 degrees Celsius of temperature. We have the regions in the north and the northeast which experience very low temperature even during the summers, and we have the coastal regions which experience moderate temperature all year round. So as a result of varied amounts of temperature experienced in different parts of the country, different plant species can grow, right? We need to understand that the amount of rainfall, when we see the distribution of rainfall across the country, that is also very uneven across the country, resulting in the development and growth of different types of plant species across the country. If we talk about the western slopes of the Western Ghats, if we talk about the region of Meghalaya and Assam, these are the regions which experience over 400 centimeters of annual rainfall. As against to it, if we talk about the Thar Desert region, southern parts of Haryana, parts of Rajasthan and northeastern parts of Gujarat, these regions in the country experience 10 to 15 centimeters of annual rainfall, which is very low, and they are bound to have different plant species as against to the regions which experience higher amounts of rainfall, right? So with regard to climate, we have variation over the in case of the amount of temperature experienced at different places, and in terms of precipitation and rainfall, we have great variations from place to place across the country. Here I would like to mention an important thing for your understanding, that the time period over which a particular geographical area receives direct sunlight is called as photoperiod, right? I repeat, photoperiod is the time period during which a particular geographical area experiences broad sunshine. If we see in the northern parts of the country, the photoperiod during the summer is very well, and if we talk about the southern parts of the country, it is almost the same all year round. But if we talk about the extreme north, especially during winter, what happens? The amount of temperature, the broad sunshine is not available even during the day. So as a result, what happens? The plant species grow very slowly. So time period during which plant species are exposed to the broad sunshine also varies from place to place across the country. That's also an important reason why the country has very diverse plant and subsequently animal species, right? Now here I would like quickly to mention that due to the varied factors in terms of land as well as in terms of climatic conditions, which are very diverse, so the country has developed over its geological time period, the country has developed a very diverse and rich diversity of plants and animals. The country accounts for as many as 47,000 plant species on its territories, and the country accounts for as much as 90,000 varied animal species. The country has as many as 15,000 flowering plant species, which are mostly endemic in nature, which are mostly indigenous and developed locally in the country and not being brought into our country from any other part. Here in between, I want to mention that endemic plant species or indigenous plant species, which are also referred to as aboriginal plant species, or those plant species which grow in a particular geographical area right from the beginning and originate from that area only, as compared to those plant species which have been brought into a geographical area from some other part of the world, and those plant species which have been brought into a particular country from other countries, we call them as exotic plant species. Like I will quickly give an example of tea or coffee. Tea and coffee are the plant species growing in India which do not originate from India. They have been brought into the Indian country from other countries. So tea, rubber, coffee are exotic plant species to us. If we talk about cotton, cotton is an aboriginal and indigenous plant species to us, right? So this was a quick difference between the two. Besides these 47,000 plant species and 90,000 animal species, the country also has as many as 2,546 species of fish in its inland waters as well as in its marine waters, right? The country accounts for as much as 2,000 species of birds, right? The country accounts for as many as 5 to 8% of the world amphibians and reptiles, which all have developed due to the geographical diversity of the country in terms of the factors that we have mentioned a couple of minutes back, right? So up to here, you have understood certain key terms, and you have also understood the factors that influence the distribution of natural vegetation and subsequently the animal species as well. And then you have also understood the diversity of Indian animal species and the plant species, which are a reason, an outcome, a result of the factors that we discuss in that, right? Okay, children, up to here, you must also go through the textbook to understand it. Thank you very much.